Listen, people need to stop playing games because not everybody is playing. I hear time and time again where one person doesn't really want the other, but they keep them hanging on. You're dealing with someone's heart and you're dealing with their life. If the person doesn't want the other, my recommendation is cut it off and leave them alone because the more interaction they have with the person, it creates a counterpeg for a disaster. And not everybody is playing. If they know someone loves them and they don't really love the person, at that point, guess what? They are leading the person on. They're playing games and they're playing with fire. People are unaliving people because there's a thin line between love and hate. You might think it's funny to play with a person's affection, but again, not everybody is playing. People are dealing with some serious issues, mental challenges. They're dealing with day-to-day life, the pressure of life and everything, and then they allow someone into their lives, and they find out that person has been playing games with them. When you're playing games, what it does is it creates a dangerous dynamic where you involve sometimes an unsuspecting person. We hear, and I've just seen on the news, these triangle relationships where the husband and wife, and then now another person is involved, and most times it's someone that's unsuspecting. And so now, because you created this, you, it's no telling what way it's going to end. When you're playing games with someone, it can cause significant harm in the relationship. That's the first thing. And if you care about someone, you should, cherish that relationship, cherish that marriage, okay? And here's why it creates significant problems because erosion of trust. Once you have done so much, done something where you have just broken the trust in the relationship, then it's no longer a healthy, thriving relationship built on trust. Now there's emotional damage because it often leaves the victim feeling confused, unworthy, and emotionally drained. Because when you're playing games, that could be emotionally draining to a person. That these negative feelings and it leads to long-term effects like anxiety. Some people is full of anxiety, they depressed, they got low self-esteem because they're allowing someone to play with their emotions. You're letting somebody play with your mind. You no longer able to communicate when you have a relationship and the trust is gone. You're not even able to communicate properly because there's a communication breakdown. How can you trust the words that come out of that person's mouth when you put your trust in them and they've done nothing but lie and deceive and even cheat on you or manipulate you or deal with you wrong? So emotional manipulation, it complicates communication, okay, making it hard for partners to express their needs and concerns. There's all of these things that you have to think about in your marriage and your relationships. Yeah, that over time, it could lead to misunderstandings and even resentment. Some people are repeat offenders. They couldn't be straight with someone if you paid them. They couldn't be trustworthy. It all lends to your character. When you do this and you're involved and you're playing with people's minds and their emotions, you're building an unhealthy dynamic. Like I said, you bring someone else into your marriage. You bring someone else into your relationship, but it's built on manipulation now. So somebody is lying to somebody. Somebody is treating somebody wrong. Somebody is a culprit. They're allowing their ego. Sometimes people's ego is so inflated, and it's much more than what it should be. So even the Word of God tells us that we shouldn't think more of ourselves than we ought to. So some of the egos are inflated, and once again, you're playing with people's emotions, you're playing with people's minds, you're playing with people's lives, just so you can get an ego boost, so you can feel good about yourself because you feel that you have some kind of emotional control over someone. Well, sometimes people are able to pull themselves out of that. They're able to grow some strength. They're able to build their self-esteem, and then they stop allowing themselves to be manipulated and being used, and being lied to, and being deceived by people. So, if you're going to build a strong and lasting relationship, it's got to be based on honesty, vulnerability, and mutual respect. A person, I'm just going to say it, a person cannot respect you if they're being manipulative, if they're cheating on you, even emotionally with other people. All of this work wives and work husbands and emotional attachments and attachments to past weights and past things. All of these things is playing mind games, and you can't even talk about it because the communication is broke down. But everybody is not playing. Let me say this again. Stop playing games with people, because you look in the news time and time again where people are unaliving people. I just saw it was something that was on one of the channels, and the young lady was chasing another lady down the street. Neither one was married to the guy, but it had to do with a guy. And so she's chasing this lady down the street. She shoots the lady, kills the lady. Now look, all of their lives are affected. One going to prison, one going to the morgue. Stop playing with people and stop allowing people to play with your mind. Because at some point, on the other side of this is that a person has to have some self-esteem and self-respect about themselves. You have to take a look in the mirror and take accountability for how you allow someone to treat you. And at the end of the day, a person has to face the truth. You have to face the reality. You have to face yourself, because no one can do anything to you unless you continually allow them to. You have to make lasting decisions that's for your self-worth, for your benefit of your self-maturity, for your next level of living that you want to live. But if you allow people to play games with you, you will never fulfill and reach your full potential, because that's a cycle. Mentally, emotionally, psychologically, you're in just a cycle of turmoil, a cycle of abuse. Some people can't even sleep at night because people are waiting on a phone call or waiting on a text or a DM. They're looking for something, and somebody was somewhere with somebody else, and then you know that they somewhere with somebody else, and then you're in just turmoil about it. At the end of the day, you got to look in the mirror. You got to look at yourself, because we like to blame everybody else and blame the person for being who they are. When someone shows you who they are, you have to believe them. If they prove themselves to be a liar, don't get mad at them. That's who they are. If they've proven themselves to be a cheater, don't get mad at them if you continually allow them into your space, into your life, and continue to let them into your heart, because that's on us at that point. Okay? That's on you. If you continually allow this to happen without any checks and balance and boundaries, that's on you. See things for what they are. Stop going through life with rose-colored glasses. Stop wanting something to be more than what it is. It is what it is. That's what you have to come to. Hey, this is what I'm dealing with. It is what it is. I don't have to think about it. I know that this is what's going on. It's not for me. It's not benefiting me any longer. I need to start making some hard decisions about my life. And guess what? You need to stick to it. Because some people go back and forth, double mind. Back and forth, back and forth. Maybe it wasn't as bad, or maybe then you're in turmoil again. It's a cycle. But you have the power to break the cycle over your life. I'd rather be by myself and not deal with any type of chaos and lying and stuff. I just don't have the energy. I don't have the patience. I don't have the time. I'm not doing any of that. So we have to get to a point in our lives where you build your strength up to where you get to that. Because I wasn't always there, but I built myself up strong enough that if anything doesn't benefit me in a relationship, I have the strength to walk away and guess what? Stay away.